Hey everybody, welcome to section 9.3, and in this video we're going to be looking at hypothesis testing with one sample, and there'll be no homework for 9.3, 9.4, but there is a homework assignment for the 9.5 So the point of this lesson is to talk about how to determine the distribution for our different types of hypothesis testing. So remember the last few lessons we've been looking at writing our hypothesis statements, the null and the alternative. Then we looked at the type 1 and type 2 errors. Then in this section, we're going to just introduce briefly this flowchart for making decisions on our types of data. And we're going to go ahead and look at the type of data we have and then determine what type of test we have. And this is kind of the whole conclusion of this class is we're going to be looking at different tests. We have a z-test, that student t-test. And then we have, we're going to look at ANOVA tests or AOV tests. Then there's a bunch of other tests. This flowchart actually has a whole bottom part to it that I'm not including in here. And not all of these tests are included in this course, but if you take a college level stats course, you'll get more tests. So our first part here is just looking at the most simple one, a z-test, which is what we've been working on in the past few chapters. And so obviously to calculate these tests, we need things like a mean. We need simple random samples. We need the standard deviation. And this is just telling us a few things. So for example, down here, when the population standard deviation is unknown, that's when we use the t-distribution. That's when they talk about it here. It's a normal distribution, one group, variance unknown. We use the t-test. And when we have the population mean, mu, and a normal distribution, that's going to be using a z-score, a z-test. We have formulas for these. So here's our formula for our normal distribution for our z-test. We'll talk about more about that in a little bit. And good news about this is we have our graphing calculator and we also have our online calculators. And we also have our population proportions that we worked on. So here was that. We worked on that in our last chapter. So that's section 9.3, just talking about different types of tests. And then talking about these formulas here. And I think I'll just pause this video and do the next video in a separate one.